right, welcome back, everyone, to Clown to Clown.
Welcome
back to Clown Communication.
So before we get started, I have
What's
a
up?
question. I think we should do the clap thing with our eyes closed every episode to show, like, if we're becoming better friends.
How sync we
What
are
if
with
it
each
shows
other?
that we're getting worse?
How in sync we are. See? Documentation. Should we do it in the beginning or at the end of every episode?
We should
Definitely
do it
at
at
the
the end.
beginning.
Not the end. We should do it at the end.
That's what we should open it with.
A recap.
In the open? Okay. So, like, yeah, the opening will be us trying to do it. Okay. So, we're still going to include the clap in the beginning, but now we're going to do it.
Oh, no, I just mean like that clap is the one that opens it.
Oh, okay. Y'all want to try it really quick?
All right,
Alright,
cool,
bet.
cool.
Ready? Go.
Good.
That was fire.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Clown Communication.
Welcome back.
We are your clowns. Welcome to the circus.
Welcome to the circus.
Indeed.
So yeah, how y'all doing?
pretty good.
I'm doing pretty good. Read some more of the book.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I am officially on chapter 2.
chapter 2. Okay.
Chapter 2.
So like chapter 2, like the second the bold thing, or like actually chapter
No,
2?
actually chapter
Okay.
2.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I thought you low-key just dissed me.
I don't know.
Bro,
Yeah.
imagine.
Like at first I wasn't sure like that was the
Yeah,
chapter.
chapter 2, page
Oh,
3.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nah, yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Like, I feel like I haven't even read that much, but like I've gained so much already.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part. Or like I'll be reading something
Yeah.
and how you were saying he's really good at explaining complex things very simply.
Yeah.
I can
He
notice.
condenses stuff really well.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is it feels like there's a lot of repetition, but at the same time, it's also really dense.
Yeah.
Like all the repetition is still has meaning to
It
it.
still conveys a point. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like he'll say something, but every time he says it with a different intention.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really good.
No,
but well put together.
The end gets really, really intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intense in what way?
Like
Existential.
Yeah. It's like he's like talking about how he stepped up to the edge of a cliff and he was like looking over on like into his death and something like that.
Okay, pause.
You don't want to spoil it, bro.
Pause. Y'all said existential. I don't know what that word means.
Like when you contemplate like the grand scale of the universe.
Oh.
Yeah.
And your
Oh.
insignificance
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and your decision making.
Sometimes
your decisions.
I don't know. Like, I have moments like that where, like, I'll be in my room and it's like 3 a.m. and, like, I'm just thinking, like, wow, there are so many multiverses out there and I'm like a rock. You know what I mean?
Like compared to your, like the rock is your
try-
insignificance.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
you're
yeah,
one
yeah.
rock in the whole garden.
Yeah. Not even the garden, like, in Earth. Like, that's how I compare to, like, the multiverse or, like, the cosmic web.
You know, I was listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson. He was saying, like the globes that you see in a classroom that have like you run your hand over Nepal and it has like the Himalayas like
Yeah.
etched into it. He was talking about how wildly inaccurate that was because like the highest point on Earth to the lowest point on Earth, the difference in radius is 8 miles. If you were to go from the highest to the lowest, it's an 8-mile difference.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the Earth is like, I want to say it's like 8,000 miles or something like that in diameter. So he was saying basically, if you were to shrink the Earth down to the size of like a cue ball for pool,
I think
right?
I saw this clip, yeah.
It would be, and you ran your hand across it, it'd be the smoothest cue ball anyone's ever made.
That's really fascinating.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like
Yeah.
like when you compare it to man-made objects,
Yeah.
it's just not a natural formation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. But
Neil deGrasse Tyson has a habit of doing that, where like he'll produce something totally just out of his ass, and it'll be like, "Did you know the universe we live in is actually fake?" And then he'll go on for like 10 minutes about it,
Yeah.
and then I know like he was on the Joe Rogan show a few times,
Yeah.
and like Joe Rogan would be saying something, and Neil would just like interrupt him in the middle of his sentence.
He's like, no.
He'd just be talking about something, and he'd be like, "And then," and just go on to something else.
Yeah. Nah. I watch a bit of the Joe Rogan podcast, but
Really?
that is my favorite episode. The one with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
It's the only one that I have gone to try and watch for full length because, like, I
Really?
see the little shorts and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and I really don't go back to watch it. But that one, I was like, okay, I gotta find this
Yeah.
because that was crazy.
Yeah. No, I love him. He's a really zany dude.
Zany.
Yeah.
Interesting character. But
Um,
anyway, what's been
yeah.
going on in your week, James?
I mean, not too much. We had the Yale grad party Saturday.
Yeah.
Although, okay, so keep in mind this is a couple weeks from now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what's up about the? You gonna talk to him about the upgrade
What you mean?
on your?
Oh, you talking about
The laptop?
The
Yeah.
laptop?
Oh yeah. So the laptop was dead, but now it's not.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. But yeah. So hopefully,
What'd you guys think
Yeah.
of my guy who's going to Stanford?
Rishi.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's the type of character that like I don't jive with him. I'm inclined to distrust him.
Wait,
You know,
that tall, dark-skinned fella's going to Stanford?
Yeah.
tall, dark skinned fella.
What?
Nah, he liked you.
You sound like my
I am
grandpa.
I'm confused.
You confused?
I
That
didn't know
tall,
he was
dark
going to
skinned fella is
Stanford.
going to Stanford.
I didn't know he was going to Stanford. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
No, he's the guy I posted in my story when he committed.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. What is he going for?
He's unconfirmed, but he's gonna do something in business for
Okay.
sure.
Hmm.
I don't know. Like I'm not sure about major, but I'm almost positive out after college he's gonna be in business.
Yeah.
So,
It seemed like I would vibe with him. He's pretty
he's a pretty cool guy.
he had like that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. He seemed really fake to me.
Fake?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
damn.
how he's always been like this
Oh.
really happy-go-lucky guy ever since I knew him back in 3rd grade.
Really?
Yeah, always been like that, which is
It's good for him.
interesting. Yeah.
I don't know. It's because like I don't know. I just don't trust people like that.
No, I get it. Yeah,
Inherently,
I get
it just sets off every alarm. I don't know.
it. No, I get it, bro. I get it. But
Wait, so like
that's cool. And what do you guys think of Philip and Theo?
I like them.
Really?
Funny guys.
I think Theo should never be let in the kitchen again. He cannot cook. Man.
Oh, you weren't there. You weren't there for.
Oh my God, you weren't there.
You weren't there for the end,
he
bro.
was he like every controversial opinion you could have in soccer, he brought it up. He was like, Messi's the worst, Ronaldo's old, Barcelona's the worst. Like, oh, everyone's cheating.
No, bro, that's why I like him though, because like
basically what he does, he has like, and it's not just soccer, right? It's any hot take, and he'll just
Yeah.
like passive aggressively bring it up at
Yeah,
every
yeah.
moment to let you know that he disagrees with you.
Yeah.
It's so funny, bro.
You're talking about like someone like fraud for the referees or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I saw this. There's evidence, and they have this evidence, and you know, and we'd be like, no, there's no evidence. He'd be like, there's evidence. They found evidence. He'd be like, bro, that was a TikTok. He's like, no, they found evidence.
nah, he's like a super like an exaggerated version of me. Wait, pause. Let me explain. Because I have a lot of friends who don't have the same beliefs as me, and they probably wouldn't be friends with me if I told them like
Yeah.
like the way people who believe the stuff that I believe explain it, they probably would like.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm just very, I don't know, I'm very chill about it. I don't really care about pushing my beliefs on people.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. But he's like radical with it.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I think it just shows that you don't have to have everything in common with someone to be friends with them. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm friends with him. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
We chill. But anyway,
But- Also, Theo, this year, and Philip and Theo, if you're watching this, you're still cool dudes. You're just funny.
love you.
yeah, James
but-
definitely doesn't hate you guys.
No, I don't hate
That was-
anybody.
bro.
I don't hate anybody. There are 4 people in this world that I hate.
And you're working on it, right? No.
I mean, I'm working on it. It's just not a priority.
Do I hate anybody? Currently, nah.
No?
Nah, I can't do it.
Bro, there's no one who's important enough to hate in my life.
Oh, that's
Wow.
that's just
Realistically,
that's
I mean,
me.
come on, bro.
Do you love
Wait.
them
But like I'm saying, to hate someone that takes energy and time.
though? Yeah.
Do they really matter that much for you to take energy to hate them?
Yeah, just for it's not active hate. It's just I hold a grudge against them.
Right, but holding a grudge
there's
takes energy.
One that I actively
It's like-
hate. Yeah.
I wouldn't say hate, but there's one person that I will make an effort not to talk to.
Like there are
Yeah.
people who have wronged me, but like,
Yeah,
their
I think
significance is menial.
it's like love to me. You know, like they say, like love's a verb. I think hate's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's not an active thing, so I guess I don't really hate them.
I don't know.
But
I mean,
I
in
would
my mind,
never-
hate's kind of it's more of an active sort of
I would never.
position.
I never
But
had
anyway,
any interest in speaking to me.
nah. But for me, a pretty good week. Productive. It's chill. Not too much crazy stuff happening. But anyway, so what do you guys got in your mind? Some current stuff happening in the world?
Yeah, so there was that Porsche plant in Chile. So this past, well, I gotta think in future time.
In future time?
It will be 3 weeks ago. It was like 1 week ago today, right?
Yeah.
Porsche unveiled a new eFuel plant in Chile. eFuel meaning it's fuel, but it's made renewably.
Oh, is it the water?
Yeah.
Fuel for-
So what they do is they have a wind farm on site. So they have all the electricity for the plant is made on site from that wind farm because it's in Chile, right, which is on the west coast of South America, right? So
Yeah.
they get all the sea breeze and everything. They collect that for energy, and then they take that energy and they take it was water just water, and they take the hydrogen from the water through electrolysis. They release the oxygen back into the atmosphere. They take that hydrogen and combine it with carbon dioxide from the atmosphere that they filter out, and they combine those using the electricity from the wind plant, and they make it make it into I believe it is not methane, methanol, which is like CH4OH, I think, something like that. Basically, it's just carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So they take water and carbon dioxide from the air, and they produce methanol and oxygen back into the air. And then they take that methanol and refine it into like gasoline for cars and jet fuel and whatever other fossil fuels they need. But yeah, so it's basically on a very essential level, it's a tree.
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, where's the
that's really cool.
downside? Like, all I'm hearing is just good stuff.
I mean, yeah.
Wow. I guess it's like when they use those fuels, it'll like burn back out, and it's like the same process of using the fuel. But it's still really good though.
Yeah.
It's still really good.
Yeah, I mean,
That's crazy.
I think it's a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because I think because Porsche's thing is they don't want to be 100% electric. They want to be 80% electric, which is fair because it's Porsche.
yeah, Porsche electric
Right, so,
is,
I mean-
yeah.
Sounds weird.
But yeah, no, I think it's a huge step in the right direction because I think a lot of what the government has been, well, I mean, really the whole world right now has been focusing on electricity. But I think the e-fuel is one thing we've been overlooking majorly, and the other one is hydrogen fuel.
You see, this is what I think we should be focusing on because people are talking about, oh, we need a sustainable future, right? So then they just look to the government to, I guess, promote it. When in reality, I feel like that's pretty inefficient.
Making 95% of the current cars obsolete is not a renewable future.
And that's not a realistic solution. I mean, these are the kind of solutions we need.
Yeah.
Pressure on the business world, because when there's a profit margin that can be increased,
Sure.
right? Then they're gonna hop on that,
Right. Yeah.
right? And I think that's just not emphasized.
Yeah. No, that's something that I feel like a lot of people really overlook is like, if we are mandated in 2030 to use electric cars or 2040, whatever. If at some point in the future we're mandated to use electric cars, what happens to all the gas cars? They're waste now. So like, it doesn't make any climate sense to switch to 100% electric because we have all these combustion engines, and where are they going? I mean, you're not gonna recycle every car in existence right now. It's not gonna happen. Logistically, it won't. So they go to a landfill or a junkyard or driven into the ocean, I guess. I don't know. But like, like
One
it
day
just
SpaceX
doesn't
will be like shooting them up into space.
like I don't know. I don't know what people expect to happen with them, but I feel like
I
moving
think
to electricity isn't.
A lot of it
our
is
savior.
also feel good kind of stuff, because people want to feel good and that they're oh, I'm helping the environment by supporting these causes.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was talking to my mom the other day. Right? We were talking about language learning. Right? And I was saying a lot of people, they don't focus on learning a language. They want to feel like they're learning it. Right? It's why a lot of people, they hop onto like Duolingo, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? And realistically, if you're doing Duolingo every single day, you're not going to become fluent in that language.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You need to have outside work. You need to speak to somebody. Or you need to have some sort of outside practice.
Yeah.
Right. But a lot of people, they just do that. They do their like daily Duolingo just so they can feel like they're learning it. So they can, they feel good about it. That's their goal, is to massage their ego. It's not to actually become competent in that language. And I think it's similar. You see that everywhere, but specifically with the environmental issues, I think that happens a lot, and people just don't recognize it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like, oh, I'm helping the environment. I got solar panels on my house today, guys.
It's like the paper straw thing.
Yeah, the paper straw thing. When you look into it, it's really not good for the environment, but people do it because it feels good.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying feeling good is bad, but
I remember
it's just important to be conscious of it.
I was on the beach a couple years ago when the paper straw thing was like in full force.
Yeah.
I got a drink. I got like a icy from one of the shops over there, and that it was in a paper cup with a plastic lid and a paper straw. I'm like, wait, so I can't have my plastic straw that's the most useful thing known to mankind. You give me a paper straw that's going to dissolve in the next 5 minutes because I'm drinking a liquid through paper. But you give me a plastic lid.
Yeah.
You might as well just give me the cup. Let me drink it straight out the
For
cup.
real.
Like, what's really going on?
It's crazy to me. Like, I don't know.
Why we don't just
That was-
eliminate
that
straws
was
in general?
bonkers.
Why can't we not just drink out of the cup? What's going on?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not a
Yeah.
big straw guy. I mean, the straw I can understand, like in a car.
Yeah.
You're moving.
I mean, yeah, I understand.
Realistically, I mean, it's nice to have a lid.
It
You don't
is
even need
nice,
the
yeah.
straw, but like having a lid.
Okay, well, think about coffee cups with the little, like they have the lids and then they have like the cap at the
Oh,
top.
yeah.
That's
like,
really convenient. Yeah,
I think straws are just like an excuse. Let's be real.
Yeah. I don't understand the people that go out to a restaurant and they get whatever drink and they drink it through a straw.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they have like glass cups, and it's like a lot of people are really good at cleaning the dishes, and they don't want to drink after someone. They just, you know what I'm saying?
Is that true?
Yeah, those cups
That's
are
a
pretty
concern?
dirty. Yeah,
Really?
that's why.
That
That's why.
thought's never even crossed
That's
my
why I
mind.
use the straw. It's
Really?
because I don't want to use that dirty dish if somebody just,
Really?
Well, realistically, if it wasn't cleaned properly, the backwash is still going to be in there, so it's not going to make a difference.
I mean, yeah, I don't feel like that's a valid excuse.
Yeah, it's just feel
It's
good.
it's just to make
feel
it
good.
feel
Feel good.
Which I mean, realistically, I mean that's not necessarily harmful. It's just
I don't know.
it's not really a concern.
Yeah.
I
It
personally
doesn't.
have never
Honestly,
understood
it doesn't really matter. Like if straws didn't exist, I wouldn't have that option. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't matter.
I think that's the real solution. Is like, what happens if they just stop making straws? We're gonna find out a different solution. So, if you want to fix the straw problem,
Just stop using straws.
start taxing people for making straws. Say it's like you charge them like $1 a straw, and people will stop making straws.
50 cents, people will wall out.
And like it's
Even
crazy.
50 cents,
Yeah.
they wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
No, I mean like the actual manufacturers.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
say like for every straw you produce, we're gonna charge you $1. Production would be done in 5 days tops.
I'm not a big fan of that, but it would solve the problem.
It would solve the problem. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of stuff like that that's like we're talking about how to end that problem, but that like straws came around for a reason, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, straws, because necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Yeah, that's something people don't recognize.
So
too, I think.
at some point we needed straws for something. So everyone's like, oh, let's use these paper straws. But there's a reason we started using plastic in the first place. You know, it's not like no one's ever thought of a paper straw, but they were made of plastic and for some reason in the first place. That's what engineering is. You know, so to me it's like don't just say we can't just start saying, oh, let's just get rid of this. You know, let's just get rid of disposable plates or whatever, you know, stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, there has to be an alternative for that, a usable alternative for that. It's like plastic bottles.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just say get rid of plastic bottles because plastic bottles were invented for a reason. So instead of getting rid of plastic bottles, let's replace plastic bottles with glass bottles or cans or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
some alternative that achieves the same purpose and
Yeah,
isn't
like
less
that,
convenient.
That process, that function has to be filled by something.
Yeah.
Even if the alternative is creating a better lid that you can drink out of or something like that, there has to be some
Well, I think it
filler.
needs to be. It cannot be less convenient, right? Because
Right, yeah.
like the paper straw, for example.
Yeah.
Like there was a substitute, but it was pretty
Inferior
terrible.
good.
I mean, honestly,
Very good.
it just matters what you care more about. Like it says in the book, it's like what your priority is.
Yeah.
It's like if you care more about comfortability or preserving the earth, that's where your loyalties will lie.
Yeah.
So you probably will continue to buy straws or continue to use straws if you want that extra comfortability. But if you're like, man, I don't really care, pro earth, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
You're gonna
yeah.
use that new lid even if it is less comfortable.
Yeah.
Um,
You should get closer
So,
to the
yeah.
mic a little bit. You can lean it back some if you want.
That's-
But yeah. No, it's crazy to me. Anyway.
I've been
But
thinking
aren't they making? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I've been thinking about how like we mine a lot to get materials to build computers and cell phones and like all the technology.
Yeah.
And I kind of got a thought like, what do we do when we run out of those materials?
Huh, that is a question, yeah.
That's the question. I mean,
Because it's like the internet, yeah, it exists, but we all like we need energy to fuel these items. We need materials to build new ones. We need materials to fix them. So what do we do once we run out?
Yeah.
It's just like,
Somebody better start paying a whole lot more for these old phones because
um,
we can harvest material off of them. It
Yeah.
just takes a lot of resources to do so.
isn't that what Apple does? They recycle the old phones.
They do, but there's no incentive for anyone to give them the old phones because,
I give them my old phones.
like, an iPhone 9 or not 9, there is no 9. An iPhone 8 right now. All right, so strange things are happening, but we're back now.
technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
Shitty laptop, that's okay.
Anyway, so I was talking about batteries.
Yeah, so batteries, what's up?
So on batteries, right? They say you're not supposed to throw them away.
Mhm.
Where do you put them?
Dump them into the ocean.
Well, that's what happens to them anyway. But like, where are you supposed to throw them?
There's a solid waste facility somewhere in the county.
But you
that you're
see,
supposed to give them
my
to.
point is like, even batteries, like something so small, everybody uses batteries.
Yeah.
Right. But nobody, I feel, at least I don't know, and I don't think really most people know where you're supposed to throw them. Because I'm pretty sure 90% of people just throw them in the ocean. I mean,
Yeah.
not in the ocean, but like they throw them in the garbage, and it ends up where it ends up.
Naturally,
Right.
yeah.
So then I don't understand how politicians, and not even politicians, just people in general, they're talking about all these grand schemes like we're talking about with cars and making everything electric, or remember AOC? I don't know if you saw it, but she made a couple of years ago. She came up with her Green New Deal.
Oh,
It
with
had,
the cow farts, yeah.
Yeah, and it had like all that stuff, and that's all fine and dandy, right? Trying to save
No,
the
I don't know.
environment.
Haven't you
I
heard,
don't
man?
know.
Dude,
I don't
cow
know.
farts put methane into the atmosphere, so we need to stop cows from farting. So we need to kill all the
No,
cows.
but the Green New Deal talked about redesigning all the homes in America so that they have minimal windows, I think, or just to make everything as green as possible.
Yeah, some shit
So
like
it's like,
that.
Oh, did they change the building code?
Yeah, they would change building code. I'm pretty
Really?
sure. It'd be nationwide, and also it involved with the entire infrastructure of the United States.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just an example of the grand scale that people talk about whenever we talk about environmental issues.
Yeah.
Right? But then it's neglected. What? Oh yeah,
Go ahead.
you can fix that. Yeah. But then
Actually,
small things like batteries
Pause.
get neglected, huh?
Time out. You have to re-say that.
Just leave it off, yeah.
Dang, when did that happen?
I turned it on because I know we were gonna turn it on.
Oh, just.
That happened to y'all too, is that just Niccolo have big thighs.
No, it happens to me as well.
Nah.
Like your underwear gets like in an uncomfortable position.
Just like rides up.
Oh yeah.
No, mine doesn't ride up because I wear compression shorts. So that's why I bought compression shorts, because they don't ride up. But anyway,
Wait. Continue.
All right. So anyway, so politicians, and then not politicians, everyone, right? They talk about these grand scheme things for saving the environment, but then little things like batteries, totally ignored.
Yeah.
Right? When in reality, it's the details that make up the big picture. And if you're going to ignore them, then how can you expect to better the world we live in?
Well, there's 12 yachts that I talked about before.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because it's been said that like there are 12 mega yachts in the Atlantic that make up as much carbon pollution as the entirety of the transportation industry in America.
And it's just like,
that's
why?
Crazy.
Stuff like that is just like that's the only question I have is why.
No, because you're rich and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And
I mean, for the yachts.
I guess it could be like, I was gonna say, I guess it can be like something in a situation where, oh, they don't know the damage that they're causing, but that has to be a lie. Like, there's no way that they don't know the downside of having a mega yacht.
I mean, it's not like they don't know; they just don't think about it. Like, if they thought about it and went through it, then yeah, of course they'd be able to figure it out. But why should they care? You know?
True.
Well, I think when you're that rich and you're used to being that rich, you go about your problems differently.
Yeah.
Right? As if your money you can throw money at anything to solve it.
And there's no immediate consequence for it.
So
Right.
Do you think they've ever had to deal with some, like, having to, like, something bad happening to them in turn of someone else doing something bad? You know what I'm saying? Like, them dealing with the consequences of someone else's choices.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's like the only reason I can see why they wouldn't think about, why they wouldn't care is just them not dealing with an experience like that firsthand. I don't know, it's just kind of...
Well, I think they deal with it. They just they wouldn't apply that knowledge to the other aspect of their life.
It's just not something I think about today.
So, like...
It's a connection that you don't make. Right.
So they're not thinking like, oh, that happened to me and I don't want it to happen to someone else. They don't. They just don't think about it like that. Oh, okay.
Egocentrism.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But speaking of egocentrism, so we've been talking about the philosopher Machiavelli.
Yeah,
right.
Machiavelli.
So
you want to give a little brief summary of
You
Machiavelli?
said
Tupac?
Machiavelli? No, I'm trolling.
No, wrong. Not the album, the
I'm trolling.
philosopher, bro.
I'm trolling.
Oh, it's an album.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm too white to know that. But no, so he was an ancient French?
He sounds Italian.
He was an ancient philosopher of some nationality that is unknown to us at this time.
No, I'm pretty sure he's Italian. Machiavelli? You're telling me he's French? You're crazy.
I can't assume these things. What if he's African?
Come on, bro.
So he was a famous philosopher from way back when, right? And his philosophy of choice was that the ends justify the means.
Right, yeah.
So his thing was basically, if he said it's okay to do the wrong thing as long as it's for the right reason. So it's like the trolley paradox, right? It's okay to change the track and hit the one person as long as it's for the right reason of saving the other four. That's how he would justify it.
Okay, so before
Like you were trying to do the right thing even though you chose the wrong action.
Well, wait. The way you're saying it sounds very like biased and like you already like believe him to be wrong.
No.
But like what are you saying?
I'm just saying that was his moral philosophy.
Oh, okay. Of course I have a stance of like he's wrong, but I could see where the thought process.
Well, why do you think he's wrong? What's wrong with the end justifying the means?
Well, it's kind of just like what we were talking about before with the details and the little things that matter. It's like my thought process would be it's not the overall of what you're doing, it's what you're doing while you're getting there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like how do I say
You're
it?
saying it's about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, basically. So like the opposite of what he's saying.
And
But
why would that be?
Because it's like, okay, so let's say you want to become a better at a sport, for example.
Sure.
Right? And you're training to become better at a sport. So what do? Let's say you work out and you eat whatever, but you're working out really hard. You're doing it every day. And what else? You're like crapping on other people because, you know, you're just trying to work on your swag, work on your ego, become a better player, right? So now you're in a position where, okay, boom, you become a better player, I guess. And your teammates hate you because, one, you've been a ego dickhead. You've been lifting, so you're stronger or whatever. I guess you're better. But if you're focusing on, like, not becoming a better player, but, like, the details of what you're doing to become a better player, you would, okay, boom, I got to work on my dribbling. I got to work on my shooting, this and that. You're not thinking about, like, how do I say it? Like, with the trash talk, for example, with the first scenario, you wouldn't be thinking about, like, this is a bad metaphor. The, like, external bad. This is trash. I lose.
You lose what?
You lose?
I lose. Okay, wait. I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to explain this better.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say, okay, if you are doing a puzzle no. If you're copying a painting, right?
Copying and painting.
You're
yeah.
copying a painting, right? You look at the painting, you're like, okay, that's what I need to paint. And you start painting it and you just paint it, right?
Sure.
All you have is like the big image to go off of. So you may get very close to the big image by trying to do the big image, looking at that end process, but it probably won't be as good as if you were to look at the small details on the image and go through and work on each detail.
Right, but if
Right?
you focus on each detail without keeping, because what you're saying, you said you support the opposite belief, right?
Yeah.
Which is the
It's the
journey.
journey.
It's the journey, not the destination.
Mm-hmm.
But if you over focus on the small details without keeping in mind the big picture, then your imitation of that painting fails to
Yeah.
recreate what it actually is, because your overemphasis on some parts shows up as you continue to copy the entire painting.
Yeah.
It exaggerates it. It's like I don't know if any of you have ever done this, but I've done it. So like, have you ever done that thing where you make on a piece of paper, right? You make a squiggly sort of circle, right? And then like you make the outline bigger and bigger, right? Like you draw like bigger circles around that
Oh,
one,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then there's two ways of doing it, right? There's like the way where you exaggerate each curve. So then as it gets bigger, it gets more exaggerated.
Yeah.
So then once you get to like the 100th outline, it becomes a far more exaggerated, squiggly sort of circle.
Sure.
Versus if you were to not exaggerate, it eventually would become, if you were a robot, a perfect circle, right? If you could draw a perfect circle, it would become a perfect circle.
Yeah.
Right. So I think what you're talking about, not keeping in mind the final product, exaggerates the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think at the end of the day, you have to think it comes to a balance, right?
Yeah.
Because
I was just thinking that, yeah.
with Machiavelli's ideas, I mean, the end justifies the mean, okay, but then what if the means is immoral? Because he's talking about the ends justifying the means from a leader's perspective, right? Because that was a lot of his points.
Yeah.
Right, in terms of leadership, a leader can be brutal if that justifies what he needs to do.
Yeah.
But then, what happens when you get a Hitler and he wants to do the terrible things that Hitler did?
Yeah.
Right? Now you have a powerful leader who's going to feel apathetic.
Righteous.
He's going to feel apathetic about his actions because he feels like the end justifies the means.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit of a dangerous mentality because it neglects process.
Yeah.
And it's extremely selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could
It's
go to
very egocentric.
It could be bad the opposite way if you say like the means justify the end, because you can do a lot of good things that lead to a bad thing happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So
It's a really slippery slope. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was gonna mention with your metaphor, like it's not so much as the process versus the end. It's more about morality and saying like, do a series of wrong actions that equate to a good action. Is that acceptable? More acceptable than a series of right actions, good actions that lead to a bad action. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's more about the good and the bad.
You have to keep in mind both, and you have to recognize if when you're trying to achieve something that there's processes you follow.
Yeah.
Right, because for example, the president of the United States. Right, you can't be egocentric about it because you have to recognize there's going to be a president after you. So then, what precedents are you setting for that president to follow?
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, I think as far as like achieving personal goals, that aspect of it, I think there's nothing inherently wrong with it, but there needs to be before you engage in something like that, you need to have a set like a set boundary that you won't cross,
Yeah, you have to be very mindful about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of cognizance from oneself, because you have to say, is this going beyond myself? So you have to, I feel like you need to be able to say, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to this good end, but if those means go outside of myself, then I have to keep myself in check, and I won't be able to do that.
Right.
So I think it's a good. It's not inherently wrong or bad. You just have it needs to be kept in check.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
One interesting thing about Machiavelli, or at least not necessarily him, but his followers, was that Joseph Stalin was a big Machiavellian.
Was he really?
Yeah, big Machiavellian. Which, I mean, I guess you can see that in a lot of the way he led.
Yeah.
Because, like an example I heard about Machiavelli, like the ideal leadership, or an ideal sort of, the ideal actions a leader would take who's a Machiavellian would be, and I think I mentioned this to you guys earlier, but the leader, let's say there's a group of people who aren't paying taxes, right? So Machiavellian would hire, like he'd have his general go and he'd kill all those people who weren't paying taxes. It's like make an example of them.
Yeah.
Right? So now all the other people, they hate that general because, like, you just went and killed a bunch of the people in our, our empire. Right? And then the Machiavellian leader, he'd go and kill the general he just ordered to kill those people, right? So that he could get the support of the people in the empire, right? So now he made an example of people who don't pay taxes, and maintained support of the other people.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's the nature of the brutality of Machiavellian leadership is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will discount it because of that brutality, but I think there's some interesting things you can understand.
It's not inherently bad. I feel like it can be taken overboard really easily.
I guess the ceiling for destruction is far higher.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But
yeah, something else I wanted to bring up. I was talking to someone about the chasm in America, at least, between like lower class and middle class, So we're talking about how it's people below a certain income threshold and whatnot get government support. We've got SNAP food stamps, Section 8 housing?
Yeah, Section 8 housing.
Stuff like that, free and reduced lunch, etc. All these government assistance programs for people below a certain income threshold, but the cutoff for that threshold is way below what it takes to live at middle class. So we're talking about how, like, poor people will get the government handouts, and if they start making more money than those handouts allow, then they actually start living in more severe poverty than before.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like they were paying $1 for a gallon of milk because the government with the government assistance would assist them with that. You know, with that milk purchase. But once they start making more income, then they start paying $3 for milk, even though they aren't making 3 times the money. You know, so yeah. What do y'all think about that?
It's dangerous because it's like when you have to work to make a certain amount of money, which isn't like a certain high amount of money, but like a certain, like when you have to work less to be at a certain threshold, it makes situations where, you know, there's people that are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's say in a 3-person household, for example, 2 kids, 1 mom, right? The mom's the only one working. So if she gets sick, who's paying the rent?
Yeah.
Even if they do with Section 8 housing, you still have to pay the extra. Like they don't pay the whole thing. They pay, well, in the cases that I've seen, they don't pay the whole thing.
Yeah.
You have to pay the last little bit of rent after, you know. So what happens then when that person gets sick? It's like they're not making enough money to save. They're just making enough money to do, like, to pay bills and to eat food.
Yeah.
And to maybe indulge a little bit, but like if they do that, then they're not able to save. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's wild. It's annoying to watch it happen and to, because, you know, I've grown up in people in that environment, and to just hear the way they think and talk about it is just really irritating.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I get it, but I don't get it. Like, there's no incentive to want to be better because of the government help. And
because
it looks so, it is so dangerous to pass that threshold.
Yeah.
Because then, like you said, now you got to pay extra for this. Now you got to pay all of your rent.
Right.
And you're working more, so you don't even have that extra time that you had before when you weren't working as much. So now you're exhausted. You're paying more bills. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's just bad.
So you think that disconnect is there?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's a really tricky situation, and this is going to be from a total outside perspective.
Yeah.
But from what
No, you're good.
Oh, well, anyway, I think it's a really tricky situation because the government, I don't think they can provide more aid to like help get, you know, to that like 3 times amount, right? Like you were saying, that divide to help ease the transition from poverty to middle class, because I mean that's expensive. Right. I think already the social programs cost so much money, and to basically triple them, I don't know about triple, but to expand it like that, that would be extremely expensive. And I also think there's no motivation from the government to do that. Right. So there's a lack of resources, and there's a lack of motivation, because when you have people on government assisted programs, then that's easy votes for the politicians who support them.
Sure.
Right. Because, you know, whenever there's a politician who supports one idea, there's a politician who's going to refute that idea.
Sure.
Right. So for the politicians that support social programs, then it's like, you know, look at those guys over there. They want to get rid of your social programs, right? Regardless if it's true or not, because nowadays you have misinformation on both sides. Yeah. But, you know, they say that, and that scares the people who are on those programs. Because, like, you know, like Tella said, you know, that's scary, right? To have that away from you, because now you have to pay, you don't have any assistance.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's just a really unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
That I mean, I'm not well educated enough in the topic to really say whether or not there's a solution. I just know if there is a solution, it would be a really difficult position to get to.
Yeah. No, the person I was talking to about it was mentioning it in reference to how like they thought it was the government sort of creating this artificial divide between like the kind of like Hunger Games, you know, how there's this giant separation between the people in the capital and the people in the underlings, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know,
the districts.
Do y'all think that the government could be intentionally trying to make it to where there's this unpassable chasm to raise above a certain like income threshold?
I definitely think so.
Yeah.
Because it's like I said, when there's no motivation to get them off government assistance, realistically, that means that there's only motivation to keep them on government assistance.
Yeah.
Right? Because the more dependent you are on the government, the more control the government has over you.
Sure.
Right? And that's the nature of it, right? Like, my parents pay for my food and housing, for example, right? So they have maximum control over me.
Yeah.
Comparatively to anything else in my life. So, when you live off the government, it removes you, I guess, from control over your own life.
Yeah.
And
It's a very dangerous thing.
yeah.
I would say, I don't know if that's their intention, is to create that divide, because I don't know, I haven't looked into it enough, but the way, because I've just been thinking about it in this very little time.
Yeah.
But I think they could do it where it would be, okay, so let's say you're under that threshold, right? They would create a system to where once you pass a certain threshold, the base, like the lowest threshold, you would get, like, I would say, I'm going to just use percentages as an example. You get 80% help with like your food and your bills,
Sure.
right? Once you pass the first threshold, now you get 50% help.
Yeah.
So you're still getting help, but they're, taking their foot off the gas less. Then once you pass the next threshold, you're down to 20, and then eventually you don't get any help, right?
Yeah, that just sounds a lot like fascism.
True.
What do you mean?
Like, because fascism is like two each according to their needs, right?
Yeah.
Is like the central mantra of a fascist government.
Is it?
I thought so. Maybe
But
I'm
it's just
wrong.
like,
To each according to their needs? That sounds more like
But no, it's different.
Socialism.
It's different because no matter what job you do, you get, like, don't like, no matter what job you do, everybody makes the same amount. Everybody gets the same thing.
No, that's
that's-
socialism.
That's socialism.
That's
Everyone works and it's all distributed.
no,
amongst people.
isn't that communism?
No, communism is government controlled.
Yeah,
Socialism.
yeah. Communism is government control. Socialism is just
Socialism is everybody shares the same thing.
mandated.
So what's
yeah.
fascism?
Fascism, I thought, was to each according to their need. Like, it's like if you have a family of 8 and you work a blue collar job and you make $40,000 a year, then they give you more assistance than or they give you more money than this white collar guy that's making $100,000 a year and has a son.
Okay, so hear me out. What's the...
Well, I mean, it's, I don't know. I feel like the biggest downside of fascism is that the majority of people are dependent on the government. So if the government were to say, okay, we're gonna have you go do this, we're gonna have you move over here into this section of housing. We're gonna have you only buy these foods. We're gonna have you only accept your help here and here. Then they can start to say, okay, you don't have the resources to do anything else.
So it's
So
like
you're now stuck under our control.
So it's like the control. Okay.
So if the government were to become corrupt, which come on,
But I mean,
the government works to become
the way our system is ran, I don't think like. Nah.
because it makes you more and more dependent on the government.
Yeah, I understand that.
I think also a good way to think about fascism is it's really corporatism. That's what Mussolini called it. He said it should be called corporatism because, for example, if you look at China, for example, right now modern China is a fascist state because you have massive corporations that exist, right? Because it's called the Chinese Communist Party, but if you think about it, it's not communist at all because of the amount of corporate entities that exist.
Yeah.
Right, but those corporate entities exist with the knowledge that the Chinese government has the actual control.
Yeah.
Right, like the billionaires are allowed to have their money and have their power, right? They're allowed to have their big yachts and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they do that knowing that the Chinese government's the one that really has the control over them.
Yeah.
Right. Even though they do live their lavish lifestyles.
Also,
Yeah.
you're not going to hear this, but sorry to the people in China. Our podcast is no longer available in your country.
No?
Yeah, you didn't hear what you said?
Oh, word.
No, I mean, I'm not criticizing China. I'm just saying that's,
Yeah, we love you.
That's the state of their government. So yeah, I mean, the fascist states. It's just what?
Sorry.
I'll come out and say it. I'm criticizing China.
Oh, yeah? No, I'm not a big fan of China at all. But their government.
Yeah.
I will not stand
I think it's unfortunate but,
for the fascism, the corporatism going on in China. But you know what I will stand for?
No, don't do it.
Women's rights.
No, don't. No. You're going out of frame again.
You don't.
There he goes. 6'9", tell us.
I will stand for women's rights.
9 tell us. I love how that's the height we stuck to. But anyway.
Wait, they don't know I'm 6'9"?
They do now.
Yeah, they do now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like Dr. Disrespect.
All right. Back it up.
For real.
You can't drop that.
Y'all, wait, do you know who that is?
I do know who that is.
Yeah.
But you're not just like Dr. Disrespect, right?
No. Like, physically. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I'm 6'9", white.
Like in your physical attributes.
Yeah. 6'9".
But you aren't
white.
as physical as he is.
What has he done that I don't know about?
You don't know?
I don't know.
Oh. Do you know?
Nah, bro, I'm lost.
Oh.
Wait.
I'm maybe I'm wrong. I thought he used to like beat his girlfriend or something. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, he is called Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, I thought it was really ironic from a name like that, but I'm pretty sure it came out a while ago that he like beat his girlfriend severely.
Nah.
And he got super canceled.
Nah.
No?
You know, I'm saying like you're probably right, but like that's crazy that I didn't know that. And I just like name dropped him and was like, yeah, I'm just like him.
Yeah, you should you understand anything about that?
Nah, yeah, of course. Yeah, I beat my girlfriends. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, wow. That's great, man.
Nice.
It's good to come out of the closet.
So yeah, Tellus won't be joining us for the next episode.
He'll be replaced by Hayden, actually.
He'll have shot himself in the back 5 times and jumped off a bridge after.
Shot myself with roids.
Yeah. Oh, that's not where I was going.
Yep.
It was a
Then I
suicide
drank
joke.
pre-workout and then I recorded this podcast.
We're gonna suicide you.
You are going to suicide me.
Yeah, that's the joke. You know, it's like someone will like leak something about the government.
Yeah.
And they'll be like found the next morning like they shot themselves in the back 5 times and then they pushed themselves off a bridge.
Yo. By the way, I just want to say this now. I would never commit suicide. Okay? So, no matter what you see ever.
That's what you're defending?
No, I'm saying like if you ever like
No,
hear anything come out and they're like, "Oh yeah, he commits," bro. Let's be real.
So you're gonna testify on that, but not the girlfriend accusation?
I mean, I don't care about. No. Wait. Now I have to testify. Okay.
Take your time, buddy.
I know I'm a good person. Okay, and I know a lot of people know that I'm a good person, and I would never put my hands on a woman.
Cut this all out.
You would never put your hands on a woman.
So that's why I was so
never
loose
put
with
your
the
hands on a
joke.
woman. So you're gay.
Listen,
He was saying he was feeling a bit fruity, remember?
I'll only listen. Okay, when I said I beat my girlfriends,
All right, gang. So this has been
Wait, but
clown communication.
if you don't have any girlfriends, then who are you beating?
facts. See, so I was telling the truth, but I was lying. You know what I'm saying?
So this has been Clown to Clown Communication. Hopefully you enjoyed. We'll be back next week with another fresh episode.
I'm MVP clown of the episode.
Yeah.
Clown, yeah.
Let's give it up for
Certified.
MVP Clown. Tell us, Gamble.
Should we do that? Clown of the episode.
Sure.
I fooled myself. I fooled myself with that.
You played yourself.
What was the first thing that I think I tried to do like a metaphor and it was really bad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was my first clown moment, and then I said I beat my girlfriends. That was my second clown moment. Yeah, I've just been clowning around all episode, man.
Yeah, I can't believe you could say
Or
that
just
about your
clowning.
non-existent girlfriends.
He's in there shadow boxing.
It actually hurt my feelings though. Damn.
I mean, you're the one going around saying that you beat him, so.
Yeah, that's probably why I don't have any. Hit me up.
Alright,
no comment from me. I
guys.
don't know.
Hit me up.
Wonderful episode.
So yeah,
Thank you guys for watching.
hopefully you
Unless
guys
you didn't.
enjoyed. We'll be back next week with a fresh one.
Yeah, don't watch it with your girlfriend.
Don't watch it with your girlfriend. Do watch it with your grandma.
Watch it with your grandma.
Yeah. for now, this has been Clown to Clown Communication. Y'all have a great week.
Have a good one.
Race. I just might erase, bro. Face one, face two. Either way, I'ma face hoes. My nigga, bless us and you know we getting pesos. My nigga, bless us and you know that we gon' face those. Race. I just might erase.